Shalom, brothers and sisters. Grace, mercy, and peace be unto you from Yahuwah, our Father, and Yahusha. He is the Mashayah, the one that carries the burden of Yah, his voice, our high priest, soon coming King. Hear, O Yesharo, Yahuwah, who is our mighty one. He is one. There is no other mighty one in existence than Yahuwah, and Yahusha is his voice. This is Brother Daoud coming to you again to bring you His Majesty's Rules of Postponement. For what? For the Passover. Again, do you trust in Yah? If you do, you will only follow His rules of postponement. Let's begin. B'madbar, you would say Numbers chapter 9, 1 to 3. 1. And Yahuwah spake unto Moshe in the wilderness, that's B'madbar, of Sinai, Sayanya, in the first month of the second year, after they were come out of the land of Egypt. Note, we have the speaker. It is Yahuwah giving the instructions. We have the receiver. It is Masha. We have the location in the wilderness of Sayanya, and we have the time, the first month and the second year, saying, verse 2, let the children of Yisrael keep the Passover at his appointed season. His appointed season? Does Yah have appointed seasons? What if I were to tell you no? Did you know that seasons are only on the sun? The moon is the sign of feast. The moon is the sign of the righteous. The moon is what Yah chose for us to follow to find his Shabbats and his feast days. Why did they put seasons in the book? Well, the translator are Gentiles, Christians, Catholics, Romans. They have a solar calendar, Pope Gregory's calendar. They follow Pope Gregory's calendar. So on that calendar, there are seasons. There are no seasons on the moon. There are no intercalary days on the moon. So the word season should not be here. Look at the word that's in the original text. Yah. What do you think it means? Well, appointed time or appointed feast. 3. In the 14th day of this month, in the evening, what month would that be? The first month. You shall keep it. Keep what? The Passah. In his appointed time, according to all the rites of it, and according to all the ceremonies thereof, you shall keep it. 4. And Masha spake unto the children of Yisrael. Yah speaks to his herald, and the herald goes back to speak to the people. He does not choose many heralds. He only chooses one. What did the herald come to tell them? That they should keep the Passover. When? Verse 5. And they kept the Passover on the 14th day of the first month, in the evening, in the wilderness, Bamidbar of Sinai, Sayanya, according to all that Yahuwah commanded Moses. Masha. So did the children of Yisrael. They followed instructions. Did they veer off to the second month or the third month? Did they add any months to the calendar in the wilderness? Did they use any rules of postponement? We can't find any. 6. And there were certain men who were defiled by the dead body of a man, that they could not keep the Passover on that day. And they came before Masha and before Aharon on that day. 7. And those men said unto him, We are defiled, unclean, by the dead body of a man. Wherefore are we kept back? That we may not offer an offering of Yahuwah in his appointed time among the children of Yisrael. If a man touch the dead body, he's unclean for 7 days. And anything that he touches is unclean. 8. And Masha said unto them, Stay right here. Let me go inquire of he who is seated upon the throne, and his name is Yahuwah. Let's see what he will say concerning you. Is that what you do? If you fall into an issue, if you use any rules of postponement, did you inquire of Yahuwah before you moved ahead? If you didn't, you are in transgression. 9. And Yahuwah spake unto Masha, saying, Speak unto the children of Yisrael, that's my target group, and say, If a man of you or of your children shall be unclean by the reason of a dead body, or be in a journey far off, look, he added something else to his rule of postponement. Yet he can still keep the Passover unto Yahuwah. How? 11. The 14th day of the second month. In the evening they shall keep it. They must eat it with unleavened bread and bitter herbs. 12. They shall leave none of it unto the morning. Oh, just like in the first month. Nor break any bone of it, just like in the first month. According to all the ordinances of the Passover, they shall keep it. Ordinances, divine decrees. Let's go back to verse 11. Here's the statute. Here's the commandment. If you touch the dead body, or you were on a journey afar off, you can keep the Passover in the second month. This is Yah's rule of postponement. Where's the rule to postpone the month? If the barley harvest is not ripe, or if the moon moved away from the sun, or some 358 rule, or starting your count, postponing your count to the first new moon after the equinox, or adding a second Adar, which will not take you into the second month, you will go into the third month. Again, who's giving this command? Yahuwah. Why are we following people who have made up their own corbanots? That's commandments, statutes, and ordinances. These brothers, these Jews, these Gentiles are giving you divine decrees that came from their lips. It does not come from he who is seated upon the throne. This is the only way that you can adjust the calendar. There is no other way you can do so. If you follow this rule of postponement, you will not dislodge the other feasts. What other feasts? The ones that will come in the third month and the ones that will come in the seventh month. If you add an additional month, you will be in the fourth month or the eighth month. This is the practice of the Gentiles, the Israelite brothers, people who are teaching on the internet, on Facebook. These are the practices of the Gentiles. Our brothers have joined with them, and the children of Yeshua and the Gentiles have become one in transgressing the laws of Yahuwah. 13. But the man that is clean and is not on a journey, he did not touch a body, he's not on a trip, and forbeareth to keep the Passover, forbear, look up top, to hold oneself back from, especially with an effort, they postponed the time. They held themselves back from the first month, but they moved into an additional month. Look at the penalty. Even, the word even is an old English word. It means indeed. The same person, the same soul, and all of those who are following him shall be cut off from among his people. Because they did not bring the offering of Yahuwah in his appointed time. That man shall bear his transgressions. Some of them will say, well, we couldn't bring an offering before Yahuwah anyway. And if they say that, they have denied the Mashayah, who is in the heavens, carrying all of the burden of Yah, offering up all of the pertinent sacrifices on the new moons, on the Shabbats, and the feast days. He has all of these things handled. You just have to be on Yah's time. 14. And if a stranger shall sojourn among you and will keep the Passover unto Yahuwah, according to the ordinance of the Passover, and according to the manner thereof, so shall he do. You shall have one ordinance. He said one authoritative and divine decree for the Passover, not two and not three. You shall have one ordinance, both for the stranger and for him that was born in the land. This is an indictment for all of you who will find yourself in April or March. It shows that you have created your own rules of postponement, or you're following someone who has done so. The unclean feast days. If you are a participant in any of these dates, in March or in April, your feast is unclean. And so are you, because you adjusted the calendar without YAH'S rules of postponement. There's only one way that you can adjust the calendar. If you touched a dead body, or if you were on a journey far off, and there was no 13th month added, all of the months will still be intact. There will be only 12 months of the year if you follow YAH'S rules of postponement, and nothing is dislodged. Here's the wicked, evil alliance of the Gentiles and the set apart people. The Jews, April 22nd to 30. IUIC, April 8 to 14. The people who follow the first new moon after the equinox, April 23rd to 30. The 358 rule, April 23rd to 30. Easter Sunday, March 31st. And Ramadan, March 10th to April 9th. Notice, all of the religions that comes out of the Old and the New Testament are here. In the month of Easter, you want to see something weird? Look at Easter Sunday, March 31st. If you were in the church, you would call this what? Resurrection Sunday. So on March 31st, he rose from the grave. Look at the Jews. April 22nd. That is the 14th day. Did he not go to the grave on the 14th day in the evening? So according to the dates of the Gentiles, he rose from the grave before he went to the grave. Isn't that weird? Now do you see how they have twisted time and fed it to you? Now look at the clean feast days. These are YAH'S days. Nothing to do with the reckoning of men. We followed the event that came in 2019 when Yah stretched forth his arm to the Kedusha Yam, to the assembly, to the called out ones. In the 400th year of our captivity, he said, "Come back to me. Here's my time in the heavens." Guess what? No one was looking. This event happens every 32 to 32 and a half years. hmm Do you think it was a coincidence that it happened at the end of our 400-year captivity? January 26th to February 2nd. That was YAH'S Day. It's past already. When that day happened, you were eating bread with leaven on a high holy day. There's only one thing you can do. Repent. Come to him. Get down on your hands and knees and beg him for forgiveness and denounce all of these dates of the Gentiles in April. Do not participate. If you get caught participating in any of these days, when you get into the wilderness, you're going to be ashamed. Look what we have discovered. Because we are following Yah, they are following the Gentiles. They have moved 80 days ahead. But the moon has only fallen behind 50 days since 2019. Doesn't that tell you something? We're standing on a hill with a floodlight, calling, bidding our brothers and sisters, return to Yah, keep his commandments, follow his days. They have been revealed. We have all of the evidence for you to check it out. None of these people know anything. They cannot give you any date. They have changed the order so many times, they don't know whether they're coming or whether they're going. Go to the top. 1 Timothy chapter 1. Now the Spirit is Yahuwah. He is Yahuwah of spirits. It speaks expressly about a specific event that in the latter times, that's now, many shall depart from the faith. What faith? Torah and the prophets, the law, statutes, judgments, and commandments, the new moons, the Shabbats, and the feast days, giving heed, listening to, seducing spirits, the Jews, the Israelite brothers, people on the internet, the Christians, Islam, and doctrines of devils. That's who you're following if you're in March or April. 2, speaking lies. They are hypocrites. They have their conscience seared with a hot iron. That means that even if you present the truth, they will not hear you. Let me ask you a question. Is that you also? Yaubul Yam. That's on the bottom. That's Jubilees, 637. Listen. For this reason. What reason? Because they adjusted the calendar. The years will come upon them when they will disturb the order. They're going to make an abominable day. Here they are. All of the abominable days of the Gentiles and the set apart people. They're going to make these abominable days the day of Yah's testimony. They're going to make unclean days a feast day. And they will confuse all the days. If your Passover is wrong, your Feast of Weeks is wrong, your day of atonement is wrong. Your tabernacles is wrong. They're going to mix the holy with the unclean, and the unclean days with the holy, for they, who are they? Everyone who's in March or April will go wrong as to the months and Shabbats and feast and Yahweh Yom, jubilees. The prophecy has come to pass. We are truly living in the day of the sinners. Now you see what the Father was saying, that the path is narrow. Very few will find it. Follow only Yah's rules, his laws, his statutes, his commandments, not these brothers. Go to yahuwah-shalua.com, learn the path of years, and apply it to your life. Shalom.